Thanks, Aditi. Thanks for the introduction. It's great to be here again, and I am very excited with the audiences which we have today over here. Uh, so today I will be going to talk about how to create an effective visualization for different kind of data sets and how you can share those with your stakeholders using Google Data Studio. I will also be covering a live demo on Google Data Studio. So let's get started. Uh, all right. So to begin with this, let me first share our agenda for today's session. We will be starting with an introduction to Data Studio. Then we will go through a live demo on the Data Studio as a tool. Post that, I will quickly run through on how you can choose the best visualizations for your data sets. And at last, I will show a few of sample Data Studio reports, each for different domains, say it, whether it is a e-commerce or a publisher or an lead generating website. Also, I have an infographic dashboard which can be implemented for all domains, irrespective of what industries they belong. So without much ado, let's get started. So what I wanted to share a little bit about some driving factors, which actually leads to development of this wonderful product, Google Data Studio. To begin with this, I would like to share that Google is a unique company because they get to work with many different customers across many different businesses and industries. Uh, it and they generate a lot of data working with them. Uh, so talking to all those customers about how actually they work with their data, it turned out that they all go through a common workflow. Everybody needs to able to collect data. They need to able to prepare it. They need to able to do some analysis, answering some basic questions, and finally they need to report those analysis to stakeholders and share them. But the limitation in any of these stages causes people to use different tools, and it turned out that people use many different tools to go through these stages. Now it becomes obvious that using different tools like analytics tools and database to collect data, and for preparing data you use spreadsheets, SQL servers, and for analysis you use some business intelligence tools and R and other sources. So it becomes obvious that using these different tools it becomes quite expensive and complex, because you have to understand each of those different tools and make it into implement on your process, and ultimately it becomes difficult to manage all those tools altogether. So now imagine if you have your boss asking for some performance numbers. How well did you perform in last quarter? Well, how would you go about it? You will probably try to get some data, maybe across some different shades. Then you will work to put it all together, answer some basic questions about what was your growth in the last quarter, putting that data in some spreadsheets or a Word doc, and then share them around an email. So now what happens if your boss asks you for new numbers, or ask what if you could tweak something? You have to go through whole process all over again, taking tons of time. Now what happens if boss actually says, hey, I will like to see this on daily basis? So think about how much work it is. It is actually complex. And we probably do to go through quite frequently. And the issue is that there are very limited number of people within organization who actually have time to go through this process in the real time. I mean, they have time actually to go through this process. So here comes in Google Data Studio. Uh, with Google Data Studio, the analysis workflow is made simplified. It makes easier for people to go through this workflow with a couple of different tools within Data Studio. One of them is a tool which makes it easy to access data by connecting to different data sources and transform them. The other tool makes it easy to query the data and applying filters in order to answer some obvious questions for analysis. And then there is a built-in experience tool called WYSIWYG Editor, which make it easy to communicate the data to stakeholders and also to share your reports to them. All these tools are integrated within Google Analytics Data Studio. I will be showing a demo on all this tool later slides of this webinar. The key advantage of using Google Data Studio is to make easier for users like you and empower who are traditionally don't have time and resources to use tools on the market and enable them to make better decisions. Using Data Studio actually helps an organization to be more data driven in their decision making. All those who are new to Data Studio, this is relatively a new product launched an year back, and there are some highlights which I would like to show over here. This particular tool is completely free and there is no pricing attached to it. Everybody and anybody can use it right away, so go ahead and use it. I will be doing a demo and you can follow along in the demo as well. Another point is you can create unlimited Data Studio reports. There is no limit in number of reports you create using Data Studio. It actually works like a Google Docs and Google Spreadsheets and Google Slides. It utilizes the space on your Google Drive to save the reports, and it can be easily shareable just like those reports. You can import up to 2 GB of data to Google Cloud Storage, and that is totally free. Once you import that data in a CSV format, you can start visualizing your data in Google Data Studio. So yeah, Aditi has some question.
Yeah, so I've just launched a poll. So since you said that, Data Studio is absolutely free and, there are other features as well that people can use. I just wanted to understand if a person is using Google Analytics 360 versus, say, Google Analytics Standard, is there any sort of differentiation in terms of the tool as Data Studio has features that it offers, or it is all the same? Does the reporting change?
No, Diti, reporting stays same for standard Google Analytics and a 360 Google Analytics. Data Studio features are almost similar for both of them, and there is no clear difference between those two Google Analytics platform, Enterprise Analytics and the free one, the standard one. There is no change in reporting.
Awesome, that's great news. All right, on to the next one.
Yes, just like Google Analytics and other tools of Google under Google Analytics 360 suite, Data Studio is also a part of those 7 products of Analytics 360 suite. It sits on the top of all product, as you can see on my screen. It sits on the top of all those products and acts as a visualization engine for all great data being generated. It can directly connected with other tools of Analytics suite like Google Analytics, Optimize, Attribution 360. So now I really want to get into a demo, but before that I want to highlight some of the unique capabilities of Data Studio in case you don't know them. Let me share that. The core aspect of Data Studio is communicate information, easy, beautiful reports. It has very easy WYSIWYG editor to build out the reports. It has tons of styles and tons of charting. We can make the report completely interactive, so consumer or viewer of this report can actually explore themselves, curate a story around your data. Getting data into Data Studio is really easy. It has different inbuilt connectors. Like over here, there are some powerful connectors which are Google products like Google Analytics, Google Spreadsheets, and BigQuery AdWords. It also has on-premise data connectors like MySQL and PostgreSQL. You can also import CSV data to Google Cloud Storage up to 2 GB, and up to 2 GB it's completely free. You can import more than that as well. Once you import data to Google Cloud Storage, you can start visualizing your data on Google Data Studio. One of the most powerful data connector which I would like to highlight over here is Google Spreadsheets. Might be having a lot of your data, offline data, or maybe some other data which you will not be able to track online on your website or app. You can connect your Google Spreadsheet data to Data Studio, and you can visualize those to your Google Analytics or any online platform data. Data Studio has a very powerful connectors in terms of variety of connectors which they have. Once you get your data into Data Studio also has some ad hoc transformation that allows you to do so as per your reporting needs. You can do quick aggregations across your data. You can create some calculated fields. You can do an ad hoc groupings. So it becomes quite powerful as a BI solution as well. Enough talking. Let's jump right over to a demo. What you are able to see on my screen is a Studio homepage. On the top of this report, you can see all template over here. Clicking on that, you will be able to access some of the Data Studio report templates created by Google. This template contains different data sources. Like you can see over here, this particular report is based on Google Analytics. So I will be opening that and showing you how you can use this template. Use this template, you simply need to click on use template. You need to change your data source, and that's all. Going back to Data Studio home, on the left hand side you can see the reports and data sources tab. So currently we have by default selected reports over here, and you will be able to access all those reports which I have access to. I can actually click on any of these reports to open it and explore those reports. The next tab is data sources, which shows the data sources which I have used while creating the report. And you can look at over here how this is shown over here. So I will be creating a report from scratch for this webinar, for this demo. And to do that, you simply need to click on plus button or down over here, and clicking on that, canvas will open. So one of the obvious thing is to select a data source. So first step will be we'll be selecting a data source. Clicking on that, you can see over here that there are multiple data connectors you can select to visualize your data. I will be using Google Analytics for this demo. I am using Google Merchandise Stores data, and to visualize the data, I will simply click on connect to add that particular data source to the report, and Data Studio will go back to Google Analytics and bring this schema of that particular view. The one who is already using Google Analytics, they will be familiar with this schema. This schema shows the green one are dimensions and the blue one are metrics, and you can also show the see the type, and you can edit those type. Actually you can edit this type based on the what kind of changes you want to make. Here it is metro code for metro ID. I can change it to region code, just like that. You can change the aggregation as well from this particular column. Here we have pulled this data from Google Analytics. Data Studio already knows that what particular dimension or metric has what kind of aggregation. It defines the aggregation by default automatically. I will add it to the report. Let's see. Yes, so I will. The one who is familiar with Google Suite like Google Documents or Spreadsheet or Google Slides, they might be familiar with this kind of UI. On the top you can see a menu bar, which is a pull down menu. You can actually click on any of the menu, and a drop down menu opens over there. Then below that there is a toolbar which has different kinds of charts or visualization which you can select and plot it on your canvas. And on the left hand side, it's property settings, like currently it is showing layout of a canvas, and size and visibility and all stuff. You can also change the theme of canvas from over here. You can select simple, dark, and you can select primary and secondary colors of the theme as well. So first of all, I will change the name of the report. I will name it to Google Store Data. Okay. Every report has an audience. This particular report I will be creating for the product managers, and I would like to highlight some trend. So I have selected a line chart, time series chart. Time series chart is the best chart to show any kind of trend in your metric. So as you can see, I simply need to select a chart and drag and drop, and boom, it simply creates over here. This particular chart is created by default configurations, like it selects some sessions, and I also want to plot another metric along with that. So I will select bounce rate and sessions. So yeah, the scale seems to be off. I will go to style and will select, I will plot bounce rate on the right hand side. Now it seems to be good. I will change sessions to the bars, and I will plot points for the bounce rate. Okay, and I will change the date range. Okay. So now I have created a trend. I want to also look at the number of sessions during the same period. So I will select a scorecard over here and simply do a drag and drop. By default configurations, it selects a dimension, or it selects a metric by default. The size seems to be small, so I will change the size from selecting that particular graph, going to style, and let's say I want to set it as 36 pixel. Similarly, I also want to have a look at bounce rate as a total during the same period. So I will simply select this particular scorecard. We'll press Ctrl C and Ctrl V to do a copy paste. Then drag and drop. I will change the metric by selecting that scorecard, and we'll search for a bounce rate. So it's updated. This seems to be quietly unaligned, so I will select both of them. I will align vertically bottom. Yeah. So this is how you can simply create a chart. You can edit, you can change the style of that, you can update it, as simple as this. Now I want to actually keep this particular chart interactive, and I want to give freedom, or let's say liberty, to select date range to my viewers. So what I will do is I will simply select date range from over here. I will drag and drop over here, and I will select default date range with last 7 days. So what this particular date range controller will do is, when you go to view mode, this is how the report looks to a viewer or a consumer of the report. They will simply select, click on date range. They can modify the date range as per the requirement. Now I will change it to like for 14 days. I will click on apply, and it updates all the charts on the report based on the date range I have selected. Similarly, let's say you want to have a look at you want to look at the sessions and bounce rate based on the device categories. So let's add a filter control which will enable you to which will enable you to drill down on this matrix based on the dimension values. So let's change the dimension to device category for this filter control. And let session be as a metric. I don't want to show value on the drop down, and let's keep it as expanded version. So there are two kind of filters which you can use over here. So let me go to the view mode. So now I have set a filter over here, and I actually want to analyze session and bounce rate based on my device categories. So let me select mobile as a device category, and you can see, as you can see over here, these graphs are updated as per mobile as a device category. So it is as simple as this. And now you can select tablet as well. You can select mobile and tablet as a dimension drill down to analyze this matrix. It is as simple as this. And there is another version of this filter as well. You can keep it as expandable as well in order to save the room on the canvas. You might be facing some issues with the room on the canvas and the size of the report and all stuff. So you can keep this as expandable, and you can click on this particular menu to expand the options, and you can select over here. It is as simple as this. And now the question is this: what if I want to apply this particular filter to the chart only, and I want to I don't want to affect sessions and bounce rate counter for this filter. So to do that, you simply need to click data controller. One is filter control, and the chart you want to get affected. Selecting both of them, you need to click on, you need to do a right click and click on group. Now this both are grouped, and you simply need to go to the view mode. You need to select desktop only, and this chart will be updated based on the filter you select. Because this, and you can see over here as sessions and bounce rate on the top are not at all affected with this filter, because it is only grouped with this chart. So this is how you can minimize, or you can limit the filter usage to some of the charts on your report. So let's say I have plotted a lot of charts on the canvas, and there is no room now, and I actually want to increase the size of the canvas. So you can simply increase the height of the canvas, like clicking by changing the height over here. You can simply change the height, or you can add a page over here. And on this page as well, similar to first page, you want to keep date range picker to be you also want to share this date range on the second page as well. So you will have to put that particular date range over here as well. So to avoid that, you can simply go to a page 1 or any of the page, and you can select that particular date range picker or a graph, right click on it, make report label. So making anything at report level, you can actually access that particular dimension, graph or a controller on every page of the report. So this is how you can make anything or everything on report level and a page level. If you want to make it again as a page level, you simply need to click on page level, and you can update it to page level. So let's see that if you want to analyze a filter with a channel grouping, let's say you want to analyze sessions bounce rate based on the channel you have, and but you are not able to see a custom channel grouping feature which you have on your Google Analytics, right? So there is a default channel grouping only, and you have created some custom channels based on your source and medium values in Google Analytics. So if you actually want, then you can go to data sources, can click on edit. You simply need to click on this plus button over here. You can name it as per your channel name. Right. You simply need to write formula like case when source regex match. You can access this formula functions on the Data Studio articles. They have a lot of other functions as well, which can help you to create your custom formulas and calculative fields. For this custom channel, I have actually already written a formula over here. I have saved this for our webinar, and I will simply copy this formula and paste it to our calculated field. I will simply create of this field and then we'll click on done. Yeah. So so let's see. Now I want to update this filter with a custom channel grouping, and as you can see, that particular channel is now available over here, and you can now analyze or drill down based on your custom channel in Data Studio. So this is how you can transform your data and create some calculative fields. One of the best example I would like to share for calculative field is for end publisher. You can create some events which identifies readers, and you can also track events which identifies your user as scanner, and you can see your readers to scanners ratio. You can analyze them using Data Studio charts. So one last thing before we go away from the demo, which I would like to highlight is, let's say you might be having your Android data, your iOS app data, and a lot of other Google Analytics views. You might be having some different line of businesses for which you have different views, and for all of this you might have to create different reports. Right. So to avoid that, Google Data Studio has a very unique feature for Google Analytics as a tool data source, and that is data control. So it is available right over here on the extreme right hand. You simply need to click on that. You simply need to drag and drop, just like all other visualization charts. Once it is available, you can simply drag and place it on your canvas. Go to the view mode. What this particular data control will allow you is to select any of the view, Google Analytics view, which you have access to. So I can select any of the view. Let's say I have selected Android app view, which updates all the reports, all the charts in the report based on Android app data. And if I go to iOS app view, then it updates all the charts and reports based on that data. So simply you need to create a single report and add data control on the top of the report, which allows you to move to other GA views data as well. So so let's get back to our slides and see what we have next. Let me show you let me show you how you can select some of the best visualizations in Data Studio for your different data sets. So before we go ahead, I would like to share types of data which we visualize using different graphs and visual different tools. So broadly, there are two kinds of data. One is categorical and one is quantitative. So categorical is dimensions in terms of GA, and quantitative is metrics in terms of GA. So with further drilling down to categoricals, there are three types of dimensions or categories, like nominal, ordinal, and time series. Nominal is a dimension where order does not matter. So the values of the values uh, does not matter to be in order. Let's say event category, user type, city, source, medium are all nominal dimensions, whereas the ordinal is a dimension where order matters. Every value has a place. So count of session is one of them, month of the year is one of them, and the last one is time series, which includes date and time, like date, hour, and all stuff. And moving on to quantitative metrics, broadly there are two types, like additive and non-additive. Additive means the value, while adding values, it makes sense, and zero is also meaningful. So those are the additive metrics. Some of the examples like sessions, transactions, revenue, and all. And non-additive are the only for non-additive, only the difference in value makes sense, like bounce rate, difference in average session duration, and all stuff. So let's move on some of the good visualizations. So let's say if you want to show a relationship between metrics, you can best select tabulation form, like a table as shown here. I have selected source medium as a dimension, and relationship of different metrics against that particular dimension. So here I have considered sessions, transactions, revenue, and e-commerce conversion rate. You can select your own dimension and metrics to analyze such kind of relationships. While you are comparing two different metrics on a timeline, let's say you must use a time series as shown over here on my screen. On the left hand side, you can see transactions are as the scale is on transactions, and on the right hand side the scale is for sessions and for the revenue. So you can simply analyze two different metrics over the time, and you can check the performance. So you can see over here revenue seems to be a very peak in January, but transactions are showing a downward trend. So it's obvious that average order value has boomed in this particular month. So this kind of comparison you can do between metrics using this kind of chart. And while visualizing two dimensions over a metric, you can use a bar chart like this. Here on this chart, I have considered default channel grouping on x-axis, and on the y-axis sessions are scaled. So and the bars are bifurcated into new user and returning user. So while analyzing them, you can clearly see that there is a clear difference in new and returning visitors from social channel. Social channel is playing a key role in bringing up new visitor and spreading awareness for your brand. So this is how you can visualize two dimension over a metric. You can monitor your performance by bullet chart. Bullet chart is one of the best chart which I have come across till now. It actually helps to analyze the performance based on the target which you have set for a particular metric. So let's say over here, the line over here you can see on my screen on the sessions bar is the target, and in the blue bar shows the actual number of sessions. So it clearly states that sessions count has actually exceeded my target, and it outperformed on this target. And the color in the base shows the range of the good range, average range, and the bad range. So this is how you can monitor your performance using bullet charts. Showing composition of dimension with respect to metric, you can use a pie chart. This is one of the best chart you can use for your composition, to analyze your composition with respect to a metric. Observing a metric trend with respect to a dimension. Over here you can see the trend of average session duration with respect to device category. You can see the red one is depicting average session duration of tablet, which is highly fluctuating, whereas on blue you can see decreasing average session duration from desktop. So this is how you can plot a metric trend with respect to a dimension value. If you want to analyze metrics, for a dimension, use scatter plot. So here on this scatter plot, the blue circles depicts the amount of revenue. So and on x-axis we have scaled sessions, and transactions on y-axis. And blue circles actually depicts the revenue from default channel groupings. So as over here you can see that hovering on the largest circle, it shows that default channel grouping is referral, and you are getting highest revenue from that particular default channel grouping. And sessions and transactions are very high, and sessions are average count. So this is how you can analyze the metrics using scatter plot. Geo-distribution of a metric. This particular visualization works best with if you want to analyze your business based on the geography locations. So this particular chart type is available on your Data Studio reporting tool panel. You simply need to click that and change the metric which you want to plot on the geography distribution. Here it is a breakdown of a dimension with another dimension. So it's typically a stacked bar chart, and I have tried to visualize number of sessions based on the campaign and new and returning visitor from that particular campaign. So it shows you the breakdown of dimension, like it shows the breakdown of campaign with respect to user type, and what kind of how much sessions do you get from those campaigns. Some of the common mistakes which we have come across while visualizing data, I would like to share this, that something does not add up, right? So if you are using a pie chart and you are selecting a metric like bounce rate, it actually gives an incorrect picture, because if you look at the numbers, if you total up all three numbers, it will exceed the 100, and generally pie chart total should be 100, and it shows the composition of different dimensions based on the pie chart composition pie chart. So this clearly says that you have selected an incorrect metric for this particular pie chart, and the other one shows selecting a wrong format for the trend analysis, like someone is trying to analyze trend of sessions and transactions, but the scale is same. You can see over here there is no scale, there is no different scale for transaction or a session as a metric. A scale, the sessions are actually plotted on the transaction scales, and this is how it gives an incorrect picture. Many people try a lot to do to put all the information as much as possible on their report, and they ended up doing graphs like this, visualization like this. It's clutter, right? It's very difficult to pull out some uh, meaningful insights from this kind of trend chart. So these are the basic mistakes which people uh, do while creating visualizations. Also, many people forgot to plot axis, or they generally remove it. Don't know why, but it's probably when you see this particular chart, so you can see sessions are plotted in, even you can see the numbers, but uh, and on the top of the chart it is also written the channel wise sessions, but which channel is getting how much session is missing. So this kind of mistakes is often seen in the charts. So so these are the common mistakes which which I have come across while visualizing data. So I will quickly share some of the sample data studio reports which I have created for a few of my clients, and let me start with that. So this is an infographic dashboard, and this contains three different tabs. I will start with an e-commerce tab. This particular e-commerce tab feeds the most important information on the top of the report, like revenue, transaction, quantity, and conversions. And I have used as many as icons and illustrators to make it easy for the viewer of this report. So and going below that, I have kept top product categories which are performing well, which is bringing me a good revenue amount, and top products which are giving me a good contribution in revenue. And along with products, below that I have kept source mediums, which gives a good number of sessions and revenue all stuff, and the performance by device category and locations. So this is an e-commerce overview. This particular infographic dashboard shows. Also, I have kept campaign performance. This particular report will show only campaign sessions and percentage of total sessions versus percentage of campaign sessions. The bounce rate and average session duration from campaign, and top campaigns over here. And moving to a web traffic page of this infographic, it shows the total users and traffic, new versus returning traffic, and last 12-month user count. It also shows me sessions, some of the basic informations like bounce rate, page views per session, traffic device category wise, and traffic by sessions. I have used icons over here to communicate the data easily and quickly, and to help the viewer of this report to understand it very easily, and to make it very comfortable for a viewer. You can see over here I have also covered top completed goals at the bottom of this report. You can see the completion and conversion rate over here. So this was an infographic which I have created for one of my clients. I would like to show an e-commerce overview dashboard as well. So here you can see that I have plotted key performance indicators or key metrics on the top of this report, and below that it shows a trend chart. It shows a trend. So the importance is the difference in this metric change and its trend. Then for an e-commerce website, it's very important to show a funnel, to analyze a funnel, checkout funnel. So I have kept the checkout funnel over here and product category performance over here. And going below that, there is a device category wise performance, and top conversion locations over here, and it is breakdown into new versus returning visitor. Also, you can see the peak hours. So this data is from Google's demo account. It has some peaks in terms of hours of a day for the sales and transactions, and at last the performance of source medium against key matrices. So this was a e-commerce overview. I would also like to share and sample dashboard for publisher. So I'm sorry. So you can see over here, uh, for a publisher, they have some goal events like engagement, readers, or a click-through rate. They have highlighted over here on the top. They also set a timeline over here on the bottom there. They have bifurcated their readers based on geography, their age, readers by device category, and gender. So this is how you can create your own report as well, or you can simply copy this report and replicate for your data source. Uh, this particular report is for a lead generating website. It shows it's a day-to-day report. This contains daily sessions, daily raw leads, and conversions, and the percentage change in that. And here it shows a channel-wise breakdown, like sessions, raw leads, and conversions. And same way, it shows device category-wise and page type. So this was a lead generating website. One of the most commonly used dashboard is multi-channel ad dashboard, which I would like to share over here. Is a lot of you might be spending on multiple channel ad channels, and you would like to analyze, or you would like to see all those data at a single place. So Data Studio is one of the best places you can visualize or see or analyze data for your multi-channel. Here in this dashboard, I have considered only two channels, AdWords and Facebook. You can consider all your other channels as well, like Instagram or Twitter, LinkedIn, or any of the other ad platform. So I have kept few of the key metrics like conversions, ROAS, and cost per conversions. So I also kept a train for cost per conversion based on channel. I mean the ad platforms like AdWords and Facebook. Then ROAS by channel, clicks and conversion comparison channel wise. And at last, I have kept a top campaigns overall comparison. I have given a separate date range over here and a separate channel over here. You can see over here. And I, the reason being that I can analyze campaigns for each of the channel by simply applying filter to this particular report. And if you see over here, this all reports are unaffected, and I have selected channel Facebook over here. So this is how I have created this particular report. So with this, I would like to hand it over to Aditi, and let's move on to Q&A session.
Awesome. So, right, after an intensive session, we are now up for questions. Guys, if you have any questions, just a reminder, please type them up in your GoToWebinar control panel, and I will bring them up. All right. So our first question is from, I'm sorry. Yeah. So our first question is from Amir. Amir is asking, how can we take out the contribution percentage by channel? And our second question is from Paolo. He's asking, he's saying that it would be very useful to have Facebook and Instagram and other search data sources in there, you know. I think he's a marketer like me. I actually asked Virat the same question while we were working on Data Studio together, Paolo, and he's saying that he tried to import FB data and it's very cumbersome. It is true, but I guess Viraj does have a solution for us. So I'm just going to hand it over to him and he's going to answer our questions.
Yeah, so we definitely have a answer to that. How we can incorporate Facebook and Insta data, or any of your other social media data to Data Studio report. So here is a quick workaround uh, to import that particular data. Uh, there is an Google spreadsheet add-on called Supermetric, which you can use, which you can add on your spreadsheets. Using that add-on, you simply need to pull out all the required data from your Facebook account and your Insta account. Once that particular data is pulled out on your Google spreadsheet, you simply need to format those data in a particular format which Data Studio can incorporate, like uh, and simply you need to connect that spreadsheet to Data Studio and then you can start visualizing your data. So this is as simple as this. The last sample report which I have shown on multi-channel ad report, it is it is the same report. I have created that particular report based on Google spreadsheet, and I have pulled out those data from that uh, spreadsheet. So this is how you can find a workaround. To answer Ahmed's question about contribution percentage by channel wise, as I shown, a pie chart is the best chart to show contribution for any of the metric. So let's say you have a you have a default channel grouping, right, in your Google Analytics data. So you can use that dimension, or you can use custom channel grouping which I have created using Google Data Studio calculator fields, and you can use pie chart to show contribution in any of the metric for your channel. Hope I am able to I have answered your questions, and still if you have any query you can write us, or you can type in the question box again.
All right. So for our next question is from Lucas Dave. He's asking on our 18th slide, what is the date format that we've used to display? Is it month and year, or is it year against month?
A nice question, Lucas. So I would like to share a date range over here again. So whenever you look for a date range, so you can simply go to manage data sources. You can edit the data source. You can search for date. You simply need to click over here in the type, and you can see the format of each of the date parameters. Like if you want to look at the month, the format is YYY for the date, the format is YYYYMMDD. So this is how you can check each and every format of the Data Studio dimensions and metrics.
So our next question is from Sandeep. He's asking, can you talk about data prep? Can we merge data from different sources within Data Studio platform, and whether JDBC, that's Java Database Connectivity connectors, available to connect with SQL databases? Well, the answer to this is, Sandeep, yes. SQL connectors are available, like MySQL and PostgreSQL. So both JDBC and ODBC connections can be set up, although for in-depth understanding, we would require some technical support. If you have any doubts, or if you need more understanding, please feel free to let me know, and I'll put my tech team in touch with you, and they will be able to help you out with the same. Right. So our next question is from Vinay. He's asking how different this tool, how different Data Studio is from Tableau. Meanwhile, Sylvia is asking if we could share the report with her. Sylvia, absolutely. All these reports that Virat has shown in the session, I will be sure to send out the links to all these reports to you in the follow-up email that will follow in the next 24 hours or so. Yeah, so you'll have access to all these data for your use.
So to answer Binay's question, so Google Data Studio is a form of same family of Google. It is a part of Analytics Suite 360, as I shown in the previous slide, and it is very much easy to use compared to the Tableau. One of the biggest difference over here is Google Data Studio is absolutely free, available in the market across country, and you can use you can create multiple reports. There is no restriction in the number of reports you can create using Data Studio. Also, Data Studio has inbuilt connectors in terms of data source. They can connect to different data source and simply apply some visualization for those data sources. Hope I have been able to answer Binay's question.
All right, so Rak is asking if we can integrate with other custom data source to showcase on Google Studio through API. If yes, then what's the format? JSON or something else?
Yes, I would like to answer that this can be possible using Google Spreadsheets. You simply need to add your data to Google Spreadsheets, and you can create the data visualization based on that. Also, if you want to move the visualizations of Google Data Studios to some other platform, then Google Data Studio is going to come up with a new feature with which will be an embed JavaScript link. Using that link, you simply need to copy paste that particular link to your platform, and those charts will be available on your platform with the same interactivity. So this is what Google is going to come up next, which I have got to know from some of the sources of Google.
Just gonna, since we are running out of time, I'm gonna take up one last question. Sanjeev Kumar is asking if we can connect Google Data Studio with any other tool like Facebook Business and so on, and also to Google AdWords directly. So if you have some light to throw on, please.
Yeah, Sandeep. So Google AdWords can directly be connected, as I shown on the connector platform over here. You can see on my screen right now, AdWords has a connection option over here. You simply need to authorize your email ID, and you will be able to connect this AdWords to Data Studio. For Facebook Business, I would like to say that there is no direct connection for connecting Facebook data to Data Studio, but there is a workaround to do that. You simply need to pull all your data to Google Spreadsheet, and you can connect that particular spreadsheet to Google Data Studio. And to create an easy while creating that Google Spreadsheet, you can use Supermetric spreadsheet add-on to pull out all your Facebook data on the spreadsheet, and the same spreadsheet can be connected to Data Studio. So this is how the workflow is to connect your Facebook data to Google Analytics, Google Data Studio.
All right. Okay. Just one last question, Viraj. Bernard is asking, how do you calculate the percentage change? Real quick.
Yeah, Bernard. So, as I shown in the demo, right, there is an option to transform your data. You simply need to go to your data source. You need to create some custom channel grouping, or similarly, as I shown, I have created custom channel grouping in the data source. Similarly, you can create your calculator matrix as well. So what you have to do is you have to simply identify how you want to calculate the percentage change, what all metrics you want to consider in that, and you will be able to apply some functions, Data Studio functions. Using that, you will be able to calculate the percentage change across your data source, across your schema. So it is as simple as this. You just need to find out some Data Studio functions and apply those onto the data source panel. So this is how you can create percentage change, calculate percentage change.
Awesome. So guys, we're really running out of time. We've already shot overtime. So I realize we haven't been able to answer all the questions that have poured in. Guys, please rest assured, Viraj and I will both get back to you personally with all the answers to all your questions. And if you have any more questions, any more doubts, or any more queries that we could help you out with, please feel free to write to us. We can also set up a call or a tutorial to have any Data Studio report creation help that you might need. So our next webinar is on optimize your website and mobile app features with Markov modeling to increase your conversion rates. Now, I realize you guys have already registered and you've gone through the entire process. So if you would say that, yes, please register my spot for the next webinar, you won't have to, you'll skip the entire registration process. Markov modeling is something that our data science team has built an analysis for, and the key takeaway points from this webinar is going to be they'll help you to learn how to build a feature attribution model using behavioral and transactional data of your visitors, and they'll also help you decode the transition matrix which attributes every feature to end goal conversion. So it's a statistical methodology on which an analysis is created. And if you guys don't know yet, I do understand. I will send out a link with all the details very soon in the follow-up email that I'm going to send out in the next 24 hours. Please do let us know. We do look forward to seeing you in this webinar as well. Thank you so much for taking this poll. Right. So we are a data analytics firm and we are big on feedback. And well, if you guys did find our webinar informative as you had expected or not, please do let us know so that it helps us in learning and changing and even bettering ourselves for the next webinars. Thank you so much for attending. We'll see you next time in another interesting and informative session. Thank you so much for joining us.
Aditi, I think I have covered almost all the points, and I think it's that's all I want to share with them.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Thank you for joining me on this webinar. Thanks, Aditi, for having me over here. Thank you.